Hello, my name is Phee with Keller Realty Las Vegas, and today we're going to talk about the steps you need to take in order to successfully purchase a home here in Las Vegas. Step number one to the home buying process is meeting with a real estate professional. Usually we think that the first step is just going out and looking at properties, or possibly just starting your search online, which happens most of the time. But actually sitting down with your real estate professional and putting together a detailed plan specific to your wants and needs, specific to your lifestyle, specific to your buying power is the number one most crucial step to the home buying process. All right, also, when you're meeting with the buyer's agent, you have a huge advantage. A lot of people skip this step in the beginning because they think they're gonna have to pay a buyer's agent a whole bunch of money. Well, your advantage as being a buyer is that you typically get buyer representation from a buyer's agent at no cost. The reason why? The sellers are the ones who typically pay the buyer's agent's commission. Step two of the home buying process is getting pre-approved. Now this step kind of trips people up in the beginning a lot because they're just not quite sure if they're gonna get pre-approved for a home loan. Maybe they have these misconceptions that they just don't think that they'll be able to buy a home. Well, the truth of the matter is a lot more people than I've come across who think they might not get approved are actually eligible and can get approved for a home loan. So step number two of the home buying process, get pre-approved. The next step is setting up your home search. Now, a lot of people do this in the beginning before they ever meet with a real estate professional, just browsing online, and that's natural. But when you're starting to get really serious and you finally figure out how much money you're gonna spend on your new home after you get pre-approved, the next step is setting up your home search with a real estate professional. And it's very important to find somebody who has access to the MLS, the multiple listing service, so they can set up a search for you directly on the MLS so you're getting the most accurate information out there. Step number four of the home buying process is making an offer. You've gone out, you searched at homes, you've gotten pre-approved, you met with a real estate professional. Now it's time to make an offer. You found the home that you like. What's next? All right, so you're gonna wanna review the comparable sales in the neighborhood of the property that you're interested, the property that you're gonna put an offer on. Your real estate professional can help you with this. Looking at this data, looking at past sales in the neighborhood of homes that are similar in size, like if it's a one story, you're only gonna look at one stories that have sold in the neighborhood in the last month. If it's two stories, same thing. If there's a pool, you're gonna look at the comparable sales data. That's gonna help you determine what kind of price to offer. And your real estate professional can help you put together the other terms of the offer. Like what day is this property closing? What kind of title company are you gonna use to facilitate the transaction? After you've submitted your offer, it's time to negotiate. It's time for us to roll up our sleeves and really fight for you to get you what you want as a buyer's agent. On the other side, the listing agent is gonna be representing the seller, and they're gonna try to do their best to get the best terms for their seller. So there may be some negotiations after you submit an offer, but the goal is to finally get you under contract, and that's what we talk about in the next step. The next step in the home buying process is opening escrow. So after you've submitted an offer and you've negotiated the terms and you finally have come to an agreement with the seller, you have what's called a fully executed purchase agreement. And now it's time to open up escrow. Escrow is a third party, it's a neutral party. They help facilitate the transaction. So they take the contract and they interpret the terms, and they take the money from the buyer, they take the title and deed from the seller, and you guys basically switch ultimately till you become the owner of the property. This property is effectively held for you usually for 30 days during the escrow period until you finally become the owner of the property and are able to take possession and get the keys to the house. Next step, you've opened up escrow, you're under contract, you've got to do your due diligence. You got to check this house out. You want to make sure that there's no major damage with the property, so you're going to perform what's called a home inspection. Now, this cost is typically paid for by the buyer out of pocket, whether you close on the property or not. And it's very important to do, though. It's usually around $300 or $400, but it's well worth it because the last thing you want to do is find out that you closed on a property with tens of thousands of dollars in damages that needs repairs. It's really important to perform your due diligence, hire a home inspector. Your real estate professional is going to help you do this and help you look at the home inspection report and decide whether or not this property is going to be right for you to move forward and purchase. Also, during the due diligence period, And during the escrow period, you're gonna need to get an appraisal. An appraisal, that talks about the home value of the property. The banks, when you're getting a home loan, they don't wanna loan more on the house than it's actually worth. Believe it or not, they wanna protect their asset, protect their investment, and make sure they're not overpaying. So you're gonna have to hire an appraiser. This is another cost that's paid for typically by the buyer, and it's usually coming out of pocket, and it's non-refundable whether you close on this property or not. And when you sit down with your real estate professional, they should go into more details with you. If you're gonna set up an appointment with us because you're thinking about buying, we will definitely explain this process to you during that buyer consultation. But ultimately, they're gonna hire an inspector to go out and do a appraisal. They're gonna look at the property, they're gonna try to determine the value, and that's really the reason we look at the comparable sales before we submit an offer. And ultimately, we're trying to get your home purchase at a price that is going to appraise, or hopefully appraise higher than the seller has agreed to sell it to you for. So hopefully you can walk into that property with a little bit of equity. So I hope that explains a little bit about the escrow process. After you've gone through the home inspection, after you've got the appraisal, the last thing to do is get final underwriting approval so you can obtain your loan and you can close on the property and get the keys to your brand new house. All right, everyone, the final step of the home buying process is the closing. This is when the ownership transfers from the seller's name into your name. And basically the way that happens is the county recorder's office finally records the title in your name. This is one of the most exciting steps of the process. This is where your agent is able to legally hand you the keys to your new home. Maybe they'll include a closing gift, but ultimately this is where you find the results. You find the success that you've been looking for since the beginning, since you started searching for properties online, since you met with your real estate professional, obtained your loan, and went through all of the other steps that we talked about in this video to ultimately find that result you were looking for, find that success, find home ownership. I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions or you would like to sit down with us to set up a home buyer consultation, click the link in the caption section below or just give us a call at 702-354-1355. My name's Danny Phee, Keller Williams Realty Las Vegas, and we'll see you on the next video.